There is but one definition for individualistic economies true throughout time. 1. An economic system encouraging self-production, stressing the meaningful purpose of all things created and efficiency in that creation, where the amount of private land and size of private business is fairly regulated and a major portion of the means of production, distribution, and trades are equally owned and governed by each citizen of the Union, whose idea of success is the attainment of the highest possible degree of perfection in mind, body, and spirit in the lifespan allotted. This alternate concept of economic success, prioritizing intellectual gain as opposed to material gain, leads to efficiency of every industry, honing them towards the evolution of mankind. All deviations from this path are accordingly seen as wastes of time and energy, consequently rendering most of the present economic mechanisms pointless, the unnecessary complexities of which were initially formed by handing over one's personal responsibilities to others, initiating a cycle of malignant growth. Self-sufficiency, the key to true freedom and growth, was lost. Education was altered to make corporate tools instead of wise individuals. Free unrestricted knowledge remedies all of these ailments, creating an enlightened society, each contributing to all government and economic decisions. This is ensured by the erection of the greater eye of the populace, the GEP, a system of notification composed of the people, keeping each individual informed and relaying their opinions and desires directly to the necessary department. The result is a content, efficient society in harmony with each other and nature, whose actions truly mirror the desires of its people. The individualist is an obvious adversary to the pointless machine of waste and consumption. Its unhealthy fixation upon economic growth and creating jobs has become a madness. A project funded by the people, which creates 1,000 jobs, sends 1,000 people into servitude for the machine and increases the waste and consumption proportionately. Far less money spent on teaching 1,000 people self-sufficiency frees them from the system and decreases its waste and consumption proportionately, allowing their work energy to be directed towards loftier goals such as refinement of self, acquisition and assimilation of knowledge, and using both to aid mankind. The old aphorism, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day, teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime, takes on a profound meaning here. Without this knowledge of self-sustenance, one's very life is in danger, and one is forced to depend on another, the perfect unbreakable chain for a slave. The individualist, therefore, becomes the demise of the need suppliers because he fulfills his own needs and takes all aspects of his life into his own hands, naturally dissolving the market, a loop composed of the people as end consumer as well as exploited resource. Taxed on both ends by a middleman who does nothing, individualism establishes regulations keeping the size and influence of surviving private businesses in check by business ownership and employee responsibility laws, coupled with large entity and excess property taxes. These cause any private entity which grows large to yield great returns to the people, who are the society upon which its existence depends. The Native Americans had a simplistic society in harmony with creation. The individualists recognized this important value, but also recognized the power that technology has to assist mankind in evolution, if brought into the same scope. As more people begin working strictly for themselves, production would slow yet result in efficiency. Technological advances would increase in frequency and magnitude because of the great deal of time people have to peacefully think deeply, coupled with their highly advanced free education system. Regularly working directly with earthly resources and waste, the society also becomes thoroughly energy conscious, resulting in efficiently created products which have a greater purpose, last longer, and are made of more friendly materials. The individualists establish a variety of populace-owned facilities such as fabrication shops, mills, mines, farms, etc., to assist these ends, not to replace a private market, but simply to allow individuals access to something they may need. The erection, disbandment, and operation of these facilities are directly controlled by an annual consensus of the people. Individualistic wealth. There is individual wealth and omni-wealth, that is, the sum total of all wealth. A measurement of anything changing throughout time must be taken at one moment in time, a snapshot, true only for that moment. The individualists view wealth as such a changing body. Therefore, to measure it, it is analyzed at one moment in time, called static wealth. Static wealth is the degree of the quality and quantity of both material and immaterial things accumulated by an entity. It is Macro value. Value is the degree of quantity and quality of both material and immaterial wealth contained in a single thing. It is micro wealth. As can be seen, the individualists include immaterial things as a factor of wealth also, for they too have value. Such as knowledge itself has a high value to the ascetic, but gold is worthless. The value of use is incorporated into this definition by example of a shovel. It is composed of material things organized into a specific shape for the specific task by knowledge alone, its immaterial component. The degree of quality of the materials used, such as hardened steel, and the quality of knowledge applied, such as a rippled cutting edge to cut through roots, would both add value as opposed to a stick with a sharp rock tied to the end. Static wealth possesses the following two major components which interact over time, creating a compound mechanism that the individualists call dynamic wealth, which is the cause of all human action. 1. Material wealth is the degree of quantity and quality of material things, its foundation being natural resources, matter itself, the finest division of which is energy. 2. Immaterial wealth is the degree of quantity and quality of immaterial things, its foundation being knowledge, the finest division of which is consciousness. These two directly interact, forming 1. Products are the result of knowledge applied to resources. It is static power, potential, capability. 2. Dynamic power is the result of knowledge applied to products to fulfill a goal. Dynamic power consumes material wealth for motion. Thus, a need is the material wealth consumed by dynamic power, creating voids, which are goals. Omni-wealth, being it is the sum total of all wealth, also has consciousness. Thus, it can exert dynamic power also, such as a forest fire, converting material wealth to motion, thus creating needs. If it happens to consume one's home, it creates a goal for that one, a new home. 3. Wisdom is the efficiency resulting of the frequency of the interplay between the two polarities of wealth, material and immaterial. Or more simply, knowledge that has been practiced to the point of clear understanding of its most efficient application, or knowledge that has been applied to the point of rectifying it to its most efficient application by identifying many negative vectors. In its broadest sense, zero wealth is the void, no thing, material or immaterial. In this massive void, one has the ultimate goal. The ultimate fulfilled goal is the ultimate infinite void, filled with the ultimate infinite experience, which is the ultimate wealth, all things, omni-wealth. The individual consciousness itself is the smallest proportion of this wealth. Incarnation grants the initial material wealth, the physical body. The senses of the physical body begin to relay knowledge of the surrounding omni-wealth. Knowledge, immaterial wealth, is experience, information received by the senses. The individual consciousness is constantly organizing accumulated knowledge more efficiently with each new piece of knowledge acquired. This action is called imagination. Imagination is speculation by analysis and synthesis of current wealth, simply the movement of things into an order. Its magnitude, number of permutations, is directly proportionate to the accumulated wealth. Thus, if one has experienced only a mouse and a leaf, one can imagine all combinations of just these two, such as a furry leaf or a green mouse, but one could not imagine a bird. Imagination is limited to experience, which is knowledge, which is wealth. Uncertainty is the variable, the forever unknown quantity due to infinity. Such is the static measure of omni-wealth. Thus, uncertainty lay in all calculations. In this process of analytical organization, the individual wealth is also consequently compared to omni-wealth. Within this comparison, degrees of harmony exist. Harmony is an individual wealth equal to omni-wealth, yet on a smaller scale. Thus it resonates with it, giving one insights into the nature of omni-wealth, allness. The void, all things not yet possessed, becomes uniform when in harmony, and thus exerts a uniform pull on the individual consciousness, causing distinct desire to seemingly vanish. Desire is a goal unaccomplished, the force of attraction of a void. A goal is a missing aspect of wealth, a negative wealth, a void. Out of harmony, goals exert a pull to varying degrees based on the degree of discord.